Welcome the rare gems. Some people fear wolves, narcissists fear lone ones. In a world full of people-pleasers and fake smiles, there's one woman who sends a chill down the spine of every manipulator she meets. The Sigma female. She doesn't play games. She doesn't fall for sweet talk. And she definitely doesn't give her power away to anyone. If you're a Sigma female, chances are you've been told you're too intense, too private, too different. But here's the truth. You're not the problem. You're the one they can't control. Narcissists and manipulators feed off weakness, attention, and the need to belong. But what happens when they meet someone who doesn't need them, doesn't chase them, and isn't scared to walk away without saying a word? They panic, they spiral, they try harder, and fail harder. Sigma females are built different, not because they want to be, but because life forced them to be. They've seen the lies, felt the betrayal, and come out colder but smarter. While others are busy trying to be liked, the Sigma female is busy protecting her peace, and that alone is terrifying to anyone who feeds off chaos. If you've ever felt misunderstood, alone, or too much, this video is your reminder. You're not crazy, you're just rare. And rare things are always feared by the fake. Watch till the end. You'll finally understand why they couldn't handle you. Let's get started. The rare gems. Number 1. They ask questions. Narcissists hate answering. Narcissists thrive in the gray area, where things are vague, where truths can be twisted, and where nobody's really paying attention. That's how they operate. They rely on people not asking the right questions or being too scared to push for clarity. But Sigma females, they don't just ask questions. They ask the right ones. The kind that make a narcissist's whole script start to unravel. A Sigma notices inconsistencies like red flags under a spotlight. If someone says one thing but does another, if a story doesn't quite match up, or if the vibe is just off, she doesn't brush it aside. She investigates, calmly, directly, and with a precision that feels more like an audit than a conversation. Not because she wants to start drama, but because she doesn't tolerate confusion or dishonesty in her space. She doesn't play dumb. If something doesn't make sense, she'll press until it does. You said this last week. Why is it different now? Why did you say you were one place but turn up somewhere else? These aren't accusations, they're clarifications. But for a narcissist who's built their power on deception and image control, they feel like full-blown attacks. And what makes it worse is that the Sigma stays cool and composed while asking, no yelling, no theatrics, just facts. That calm energy makes it impossible for the narcissist to flip the script or deflect. The Sigma doesn't care how uncomfortable it gets. She wants the truth. And when a narcissist realizes they can't lie their way out, they either explode or retreat. There's no safe space for manipulation when she's in the room, because with every question she asks, the mask slips a little more. And eventually, they're forced to face something they hate more than anything. Being seen exactly as they are, with nowhere to hide. Number 2, she doesn't give second chances easily. A Sigma female doesn't play the forgiveness game the way manipulators hope she will. She's not cold, but she is final. When someone crosses her once, lies, disrespects her, or tries to play her, she doesn't give a speech. She doesn't beg for change or hand out emotional ultimatums. She just disconnects, quietly, completely, and without a single ounce of regret. That's what makes her such a threat to manipulators. They depend on cycles. Push too far, pull back, apologize just enough to keep the door open, then repeat. They expect their target to forgive out of love, guilt, or hope for change. But the Sigma female doesn't work like that. Her boundaries are sharp and built from experience. When she sees someone violate her trust, she doesn't wait for it to get worse. She ends it before the damage spreads. She's not interested in hearing excuses or justifications. She doesn't care if someone didn't mean to or was going through a tough time. In her mind, loyalty is proven in hard moments, not perfect ones. So if someone shows their true colors under pressure, she believes them. And she doesn't circle back to reevaluate. Her emotional detachment is real, and once the cord is cut, it stays that way. What catches manipulators off guard is how little reaction she gives. No dramatic goodbye, no warning text, just silence. She doesn't try to make them see what they did wrong. She already knows they won't. That's why she doesn't waste energy explaining herself. She simply exits the situation and focuses on her peace. Her zero tolerance for betrayal isn't bitterness, it's wisdom. She's been burned before and learned that patterns don't lie. If someone shows a manipulative side once, chances are they'll do it again. And she's not interested in giving them that chance. Her time, trust, and presence are earned, and once lost, they're gone for good. Number 3. Her energy reveals the fake in others. A Sigma female walks into a room and instantly shifts the energy, not because she's loud, flashy, or trying to stand out, but because her authenticity is so real that it makes anything fake feel uncomfortable. She doesn't try to impress anyone. She doesn't follow trends or change who she is to fit in, and that quiet, unshakable sense of self exposes people without her even trying. The masks that others wear, the forced charm, the fake confidence, the rehearsed kindness, all start to slip when she's around. Narcissists feel this the most. Their entire identity is built on performance. They thrive in environments where no one's really paying attention, where people are too polite or too distracted to notice the cracks. But when the Sigma female is in the room, they feel watched. Not in a paranoid way, but in a deeply unsettling way, because her presence alone reflects back what's real and what's not. And if you're hiding something, pretending or manipulating others, that becomes obvious next to her grounded energy. She doesn't call people out directly. She doesn't need to. Her vibe alone says, "I see you." And that subtle awareness unnerves those who rely on illusions to get by. They might start talking faster, trying harder, getting defensive, because they feel seen in a way they're not used to. Not admired, not feared, seen. This is why manipulators avoid her or try hard to discredit her. She doesn't play their game, and worse, she exposes it without even trying. Her energy speaks the truth, and the truth makes liars deeply uncomfortable. She's not out to ruin anyone, but her presence alone disrupts the control they thought they had. And once the mask starts to slip, the game falls apart. Being around a Sigma female forces people to confront who they really are, and for those hiding behind fake identities, that's terrifying. Number 4. They reject the spotlight narcissists crave. Narcissists need attention like it's air. They need to be seen, praised, admired, constantly. Their sense of worth is built entirely on what others reflect back at them, so when they come across a Sigma female, it throws them completely off balance. She's not impressed by status. She doesn't chase validation. She doesn't care if someone is watching or not. She moves for purpose, not applause. That quiet detachment is exactly what leaves narcissists feeling invisible, even when they're standing right in front of her. To the Sigma, solitude is power. She's not lonely when she's alone. She's recharging, creating, thinking, growing. Her sense of identity doesn't come from external recognition. It comes from within. That kind of self-sufficiency makes her completely immune to the tricks narcissists usually rely on: flattery, image, charm, or social dominance. While they're performing for attention, she's ignoring the stage altogether. Not to be rude, she just doesn't care. And that cuts deeper than any insult. A narcissist will try everything to get noticed. They'll show off, play victim, start drama. Anything to provoke a reaction. But the Sigma doesn't bite. She doesn't engage in games. She sees the performance for what it is, and she won't entertain it. That lack of response feels suffocating to someone who feeds on attention. It's like trying to breathe without air. The more they try, the more they realize they have no hold over her. The Sigma female's refusal to participate is what makes her so threatening. She doesn't resist the narcissist. She simply doesn't care. And that's far worse than hatred or anger. Hatred still gives energy. Indifference gives them nothing. And for someone who survives off admiration and control, that silence, that total emotional unavailability, is unbearable. It's not that she's trying to destroy their ego. It's that her existence alone shows them how powerless they really are without an audience. Number 5. She's already lived through hell and came out unbroken. The Sigma. female is not someone you can catch off guard emotionally. She's not soft in the ways manipulators hope. She's solid. That's because she's already been through the kind of pain that forces you to meet yourself at your core. She's already sat with the hurt, faced betrayal, disappointment, abandonment, not just once, but enough times to know exactly how deep it cuts. And she didn't just survive it, she learned from it. She picked herself up without applause, processed the trauma without playing the victim, and grew into someone that manipulation simply can't touch. Most manipulators look for weakness, for insecurity, for wounds that haven't healed, for people who still need saving. But the Sigma female doesn't need saving. She did that already, on her own. She doesn't carry her pain like baggage, she carries it like armor. She doesn't deny her past. She owns it, and she's no longer ashamed of what she's been through. In fact, it's exactly why she can spot manipulation from a mile away. Because she's seen it before, lived through it, and come out the other side too wise to fall for it again. She's emotionally self-sufficient. She doesn't chase people for love, beg for clarity, or stick around to fix someone. That's a manipulator's nightmare. They can't bait her with guilt, love bomb her with attention, or shake her with fear because she's already survived worse. Her mind is clear, her heart is guarded with reason, and her boundaries are firm. She no longer reacts out of old wounds, she responds with clarity. This is what makes her so dangerous to toxic people. They can't play on her pain, because she's already turned it into power. They can't mess with her head, because she knows how her own mind works. And they can't control her because she's already taken full control of her life. Once you've been through hell and came out whole, no one can ever use that fire against you again. Number 6. She sees through the charade, instantly. A Sigma female doesn't need weeks or even days to figure someone out. The moment a narcissist starts love-bombing, overdoing the compliments, or moving too fast, her alarm bells go off. She doesn't get swept away by attention or fake affection. While most people might enjoy the flattery and think, maybe this is real, she's already analyzing. Why the rush? What's the angle? What do they want? And more often than not, she already has the answer. She's not cold-hearted, but she's sharp, emotionally sharp. And because of that, she picks up on the things most people ignore. The slight push to depend on them too soon, the subtle way they twist your words, or how they make you question your own memory. These are the tricks narcissists rely on. And to others it's confusing. But to the Sigma female, it's textbook. She sees it for what it is, and she refuses to play along. That's what makes her so dangerous to manipulators. They expect their target to fall into the trap, to be impressed, to feel special. But when they try that on her, she stares straight through it. No excitement, no reaction, just quiet knowing. And in that moment, they lose all power. The thing is, she's likely been through it before. She's studied people, not by choice, but by survival. She's learned to detect lies in kindness and control behind compliments. So when someone tries to charm their way in, she's not flattered, she's suspicious. And the moment they start twisting the truth or planting doubt, she knows it's not a misunderstanding. It's manipulation, and she's already 10 steps ahead. That kind of insight can't be faked or taught. It's built through experience, pain, and brutal honesty. And because of it, narcissists and manipulators find themselves exposed before they even begin. She doesn't need to dig for the truth. She is the truth they can't hide from. Number 7. She's incorruptible. A Sigma female is the kind of woman you can't buy, bend, or break. She knows who she is, what she stands for, and what she's not willing to tolerate. And none of that changes just because someone waves something tempting in front of her. You can offer her money, praise, a shortcut to success, or even fake love. She'll see through it and walk away without blinking. That's what makes her incorruptible. She can't be lured with shiny things or tricked with sweet words. Manipulators hate that because they rely on leverage. They try to figure out what someone wants most: attention, security, validation, status, and use it to gain control. But the Sigma female doesn't operate on that kind of hunger. She doesn't crave approval. She doesn't fear missing out. And she sure doesn't compromise her values for a temporary high. Even guilt trips don't work on her. Try to make her feel bad for putting up boundaries, and she'll put up even stronger ones. Try to flatter her, and she'll question your motives. Offer her a deal that would make most people jump, and she'll calmly say, no thanks, if it doesn't sit right with her soul. What scares manipulators the most is that she can't be moved emotionally unless she chooses to be. They can't bait her with love, pressure her with threats, or shake her with fear. Her emotional independence is locked in. She listens to her gut, sticks to her truth, and has no problem walking away, even if it means walking alone. That kind of self-possession makes her incredibly hard to influence. You can't play someone who's not playing the game. You can't trap someone who's already free. The Sigma female doesn't respond to pressure. She watches it, analyzes it, and removes herself from it. That's what makes her dangerous to toxic people. She's unshakable, untouchable, and fully in control of her own life. And they have no idea what to do with that. Number 8. She's not flattered by attention, she questions it. A Sigma female doesn't melt under attention. She studies it. When someone suddenly shows her interest, she doesn't assume it's admiration. Her mind goes straight to, why now? What changed? What do they want? While most people would be flattered or even excited to finally be seen, she steps back and watches instead of getting pulled in. Compliments don't impress her. Grand gestures don't move her. In fact, the more intense the attention, the more she starts to question the motive behind it. That's the part that terrifies manipulators. They rely on quick emotional hooks, being overly kind, making someone feel like they're the center of the world, rushing intimacy. They want you to believe it's real, so they can slowly tighten their grip. But with a Sigma female, that illusion falls flat. She doesn't feel special when someone showers her with praise out of nowhere. She feels curious. And that curiosity is what destroys the manipulator's game before it even begins. She knows the spotlight is often just a tool, a distraction. Narcissists use it to keep people entertained while they work behind the scenes, twisting facts and controlling narratives. But the Sigma doesn't get distracted. She sees the pattern. She's seen how fast affection turns into control and how easily admiration can turn into entitlement. Because she questions attention instead of soaking it in, she forces manipulators to reveal themselves early. They either get frustrated that their tactics aren't working, or they slip up trying to push harder. Either way, she sees the truth. And once she does, she detaches completely, mentally and emotionally. That deep awareness, that refusal to be blinded by flattery, is what keeps her protected. The Sigma female doesn't need to be the center of anyone's world. She'd rather stand alone than stand in someone else's illusion. Number 9. She reads intent, not words. A Sigma female doesn't listen to what people say. She watches what they do. While others might be swept away by flattering words, sweet promises, or perfectly crafted stories, she stays quiet and pays attention to the things most people miss. She's not impressed by someone's charm or how smoothly they talk. In fact, the smoother they are, the more alert she becomes. She knows that words are easy. Anyone can say the right thing. But how someone acts when they're not being watched, how they treat others when there's nothing to gain, and how they react when things don't go their way, that's what reveals the truth. She picks up on body language, timing, changes in tone, and small inconsistencies. The things people try to hide, she sees them in seconds. That's what makes her terrifying to manipulators. They simply can't fake their way past her. A narcissist will try to control the narrative with compliments, confusion, and carefully planned moves. But to her, it all feels rehearsed. While they think they're being clever, she's mentally dissecting every motive. She doesn't need to confront them. She just watches, notes, and withdraws the second things don't feel right. No second chances, no explanations. This kind of insight isn't something she brags about. It's just how she moves. She's had to learn it the hard way. Her strength came from being lied to, betrayed and used, and she made a promise to herself, never again. What makes her so dangerous to manipulators is that their tricks simply don't land. Their charm dies on arrival, their games don't work, and worst of all, she sees through them while pretending not to. That quiet awareness, that sharp instinct, it's why manipulators are always uneasy around her. Because deep down, they know she already knows. Number 10. She's not shocked by darkness. The Sigma female doesn't flinch when she sees the dark side of someone. Where others might be stunned by betrayal, manipulation, or cruelty, she just quietly takes note. She's not surprised by how low people can go because she's already seen it. Not just in the world, but in herself. She's done the hard work of facing her own shadows, questioning her own patterns, and healing the parts of her that once attracted chaos. That's what gives her such a calm presence. She's not blind to darkness, she's familiar with it. Manipulators expect shock. They want confusion. They want you to say, "I can't believe you'd do that." But she doesn't give them that satisfaction. When someone shows their toxic side, she simply registers it and moves accordingly. No big reaction, no breakdown, just a shift in how she sees them. And usually, that's the beginning of the end. Her strength doesn't come from being naive or overly positive. It comes from experience. She's seen masks fall. She's heard lies with a straight face. She's felt betrayal from people who once swore loyalty. So now, when someone tries to manipulate her, it doesn't rattle her. It confirms what she already sensed. That level of emotional depth is intimidating. Narcissists depend on people reacting, being shocked, questioning themselves, or clinging to the hope that the manipulator didn't mean it. But the Sigma female doesn't go through that cycle. She recognizes the game early, understands the motive, and detaches without drama. Her silence is deadly because it's not numbness, it's clarity. People mistake her calm for indifference, but it's wisdom. She knows darkness is part of life. She just refuses to let it control her. And that's what terrifies manipulators. They can't scare her. They can't shame her. They can't shock her. She's already walked through the fire, and she didn't come out clean. She came out aware. Number 11. She's intimidating without even trying. The Sigma female doesn't walk into a room trying to make a statement, but she does anyway. She doesn't need to be the loudest, flashiest, or most commanding person in the room to be felt. Her presence speaks volumes because it's rooted in something that can't be faked, unshakable self-respect. She knows who she is and she doesn't apologize for it. That kind of quiet confidence unnerves people who are used to controlling others through charm, ego, or power plays. Especially narcissists, who are masters at sniffing out insecurity but completely disarmed when they can't find it. She doesn't play submissive to make others comfortable. She won't shrink to protect someone's fragile ego. She doesn't sugarcoat her words or pretend to be impressed to earn approval. She stands in her truth, and that alone causes insecure people to either become obsessed with her or avoid her entirely. Narcissists fall into both categories. Some want to conquer her, thinking if they can break her, they'll finally prove they're superior. Others can't handle what she reflects back at them, their own shallowness, insecurity, and need for validation, and they retreat fast. What makes her so intimidating is that she doesn't need to play games. She doesn't seek attention or permission. She's grounded, she's alert, and she's completely immune to emotional manipulation. Narcissists don't know how to respond to that. They're used to being able to trigger, confuse, or seduce their way into someone's psyche. But with her, none of that works. Every attempt to shake her just ends up making them look foolish. And the more they try, the more their own insecurities start to show. She doesn't even have to lift a finger. Her energy alone does the work. Narcissists either obsess over figuring her out or silently back away, realizing they're no match. And that kind of power? It's the kind that doesn't shout. It just walks in and changes everything. Finally. The truth is, Sigma females don't set out to terrify anyone. They're just being who they are. But that alone is what makes them so powerful. Narcissists and manipulators operate in the shadows. They thrive on confusion, control, and emotional weakness. The Sigma female brings light into those dark corners by simply being clear, calm, self-aware, and unshakably honest. She doesn't fall for surface-level charm, she doesn't entertain games, and she doesn't tolerate cycles of betrayal disguised as love. She's walked through pain, faced herself, and built a life rooted in truth, not performance. And when you've done that kind of inner work, the usual traps don't stick anymore. Manipulators can't guilt her. They can't buy her. They can't shake her into submission. She doesn't need anyone to complete her, validate her, or tell her who she is. That level of independence strips a narcissist of their power instantly. because their power only works on people who haven't claimed their own. So if you're watching this and realizing, that's me, stay with that feeling. You're not too much, too guarded, or too distant. You're aware, you're awake, and you're protecting the peace that took you years to earn. That's something to honor, not question. Let the world be confused by your silence. Let manipulators fall apart when they realize they can't get to you. Stay grounded, stay alert, and most of all, stay you. Because being unshakably real in a world full of performance isn't just rare, it's powerful. Thank you for watching The Rare Gems, and God bless you.